All right, she's recording.
Very cool.
So we got our pretty faces on the camera there.
Oh boy.
Yep. Nice framing. All right, we'll get this thing started. Once I get the keys put in the ignition, that's kind of an important issue. Yeah. We'll clear the prop. Clear prop. All right, ready? 1, 2, ready, go. What I'm doing there is I'm just making sure.
Syncing it up, right?
Syncing them up.
Cool.
I do have like 46 gallons of fuel in here.
Okay.
So we should be able to get there and get back. I might top off the tanks when I get there.
Sure.
For just
Peace of mind.
Peace
And
of
you're
mind.
gonna fly somewhere, so.
right.
Ames Municipal Airport, Ames, Iowa. Automated weather observation 1224 Zulu. Wind 270 at 03. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature -0.5 Celsius. Dew point -0.8 Celsius. Altimeter 3003.
Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear that at all?
No.
No. Okay, so it only goes into my headset.
Okay.
Which
The
is-
buzzing.
Yeah, well, no,
Or what?
the
alert.
The alert.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay.
So your passengers will never know.
Yeah.
They won't freak out.
No, they won't.
They'll be like, I think we're slowly dying, but you won't know.
You won't know. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started here. Hey there, welcome aboard. We are with my good friend Joe. Say hi, Joe.
Hello.
Hello. So we are on a rescue mission today, and we are going to be flying to Kilo Tango Alpha Zulu.
Yep, you got it.
TAZ. Okay.
Yep.
So, which is going to be like 244 nautical miles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're gonna while I got Joe aboard, I'm gonna do my IFR stuff, get some IFR hours out of the way. But while we're going down, we're going to talk about why we're rescuing this aircraft, and how easy it is to be able to go rescue aircraft when you have a buddy with a plane, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, but we're gonna we already got the weather, and we'll go ahead and taxi on out. So we'll make this happen. Ames traffic, Mooney 875 is taxiing to runway 31 from the hangar. Ames. Make sure the brakes work. All right, so quick thing, Joe doesn't have a whole lot of complex time, do you?
No.
So this was, you'll be able to log this as complex time.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Which would be nice. And so I will tell you that you do not have brakes on your side. You only have rudders.
Who needs brakes?
Who needs brakes?
I got beta.
Yep.
Like for the prop, I can just, reverse it.
I guess.
I'll just wave out the window forward. That'll be fine.
Just stick your hands out and
air
brake.
brakes.
Yeah, air brakes. So, but this is also a mechanical system. So this is a Johnson bar, this thing right here.
Okay.
This basically comes down into the floor, and that raises and lowers the gear. Okay?
Oh, gotcha.
So that's how you raise and lower. It's not mechanical. It's not.
I noticed how fast it was.
Yeah. So it's just boom down here, and it locks into a gate. If you look down here, there's a gate.
Yep, gotcha.
And it just locks into that gate.
I like that.
So kind of nice.
Who knew?
Yeah, well, that's Mooney for you.
Yeah.
The later model Moonies, they actually had a switch for the
Electric.
it was hydraulic stuff.
Yeah.
Another thing about this plane, this has hydraulic flaps.
Okay.
So in order to work the flaps, you push this button down, and then you pump this. 1, 2. That's takeoff flaps.
No way.
Yeah, it goes all the way up to 4.5. So
Okay.
3, 4, and then a half, and that's it.
And then it'll stop because you're.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And in order to retract the flaps, you just push this thing up. It opens up the valve, and the springs start to come back up, and you'll see the.
Yeah, I can see that. Very cool.
So that's how we get the flaps and down on this thing. This is a sleek aircraft. We should get off the ground by the 1,000-foot markers. We got weighted down a little bit. We got a lot of fuel in here, and then 2 linebackers, which kind of adds the weight, but we should be good to go. We will take off, take a left traffic pattern, and head to the southeast to KTAZ.
Sounds great.
Should we get flight following today?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
because we're going to be going to through Springfield's.
Yeah, Class C.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll just get handed off as we go.
I guess, did you look at winds yet and see what
Yeah.
ideal altitude?
I didn't look at altitude or anything like that.
Because they're probably, I think they're 4,500 is the top of their Class C. So depending on what our winds look like and what altitude we choose, might not be a factor.
Winds aloft, 6,000, 310 at 37 knots. Guess what? We're going to go up above 6,000.
Perfect.
Because we're going to get blazing speeds today.
Well, on the way there.
Yeah, on the way back, we might be scud busting.
You pay for it.
Yeah. That's okay. What you got there?
So this is iFly, and I was just taking a peek. They have something called iFly by Adventure Pilot. They have something called... Oh, hold on, I'll tell you what it's called here. It is called Real Plan.
Okay.
And so basically, you can set up your flight, click it, it'll figure out all the winds for you, and then you have some parameters of like, hey, I want to stay out of Class B, I want to stay out of these airspaces.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
And it reroutes you.
Okay.
And sets it up. That way, you just, you kind of can go according to whatever settings you want.
Well, we should be able to go straight there, though.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
we don't
We're
have to worry
golden.
about it. Yeah, we're golden. So, doesn't die.
Nice.
So we're good.
Runs like a champ, by the way.
Well,
nice
thank
and
you.
smooth.
And it starts really well. I have a SureFly mag nut.
Oh, yes.
SureFly mag on it.
Yep.
It fires right up.
That's awesome.
And it runs lean, runs hot, runs good.
Those are really cool.
I love it. So, well, we'll get ready to go. We'll take off runway 31, do left traffic pattern. We should get off by the 1,000-foot markers. We'll climb up to 7,500 today.
Perfect.
And then we'll get on there and be good to go. We'll go ahead and we can go do this now if we want to. This is direct. We will go to KTAV only because that runway that I checked out, it's 2,200 feet.
Right.
On soil, and I think rain went through last night.
Yeah, probably a little wet.
KTAV.
I think it's Z. Is it Z Zulu?
Oh, Zulu, yeah. KTAZ.
KTAZ.
KTAZ. What's the name of that town? Do you know?
Taylorville. Yeah, Taylorville.
Okay.
We're going to Taylorville Municipal.
So we got a direct track there of 125. We'll.
And hey, Blake, if you're watching this later, you might see a couple fancy little things up here on the dash. We should go ahead and get a couple of those. They're pretty neat.
They are pretty cool. I like it. So it's nice to have because I got rid of my vacuum system.
Yeah,
which is
that's
huge.
awesome.
Yeah, so we'll be good to go there. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the landing light. I got the fuel pump on. Mixture's full rich. We'll give ourselves some takeoff flaps. So this is, again, I'll let you pump it twice. One, two. That's takeoff flap.
Very cool.
Okay. Flight controls are free and correct. They're doing what they got to do.
Yep.
We're getting a little foggy in here. We're steaming up, and people are going to start asking questions. So, you ready to roll?
I'm ready.
We're on Des Moines Approach 2 there, so we're good to go.
Perfect.
Ames traffic, Mooney 875 is departing runway 31. We're going to make left traffic pattern and head to the southeast. Ames. There we go. All right, I got my noise canceling on.
Awesome. Runway looks clear.
Everything is clear. 3-1 out there. Ready to roll? There's 40. There's 50. There's 60. There's 70. And we're off.
Up and away.
Yep. Put the gear down.
Awesome.
Our gear's down.
So there's your gear indication light as well.
Yep. Tells me that it's
up.
Right?
Yep. Gotcha. And then does it go out when it's when the gear is down, or does it change colors? Oh,
it goes to
jumps to
lockdown.
green.
Yep,
Gotcha. Very cool.
Oh.
Dude, you're going to be so spoiled in this thing.
I hope so.
Your airspeed indicator reminds me of, like, now when you're in a modern car.
Yeah.
And it reads you out the digital speedometer, digital speed.
Right.
Even though you have a gauge integrated. But, like, you don't know how to read the needle anymore. You just look at the readout. That's awesome.
That's exactly what I need to know. Ames traffic, pretty 875 is turning left crosswind from runway 31. We'll go ahead and take the flaps out. This is so much fun. We're climbing out at 1,000 feet a minute. Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you're on climb out in a Mooney, you're running prop full forward?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always full forward
Yep.
on prop. Ames traffic, pretty 875 is turning downwind from runway 31. Yeah, always full forward. When we get up, we'll start adjusting it as we go. You can see how I'm at 2,600 RPMs right now. We're going to back that off to about 25.
Yep.
Maybe give ourselves a little bit of prop.
And as far as your manifold pressure settings, have you just memorized those? I've been in a, let's see, what was I in? I think I was flying a Comanche.
Okay.
It actually had its manifold pressure numbers on the visor.
Oh, really?
And so you could flip it down, see what your altitude was, be like, about here is 75%.
I haven't done that.
Okay.
I haven't memorized anything.
Yep.
But I know that 25 squared is kind of the best performance.
Yep, perfect.
So I don't do 25. I usually do 25. And at altitude, you're going to lose a ton of manifold pressure. So
yes,
I like seeing how well I can fly at altitude. And get the best speed and stuff out of it. So.
Yep, absolutely. What do you typically see fuel burn kind of at your
9?
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really good. What's
9.
your horsepower?
180.
Okay, awesome.
What are you guys at?
We are currently sitting at 150.
Okay. I'm going to put my goggles on.
Yep, go for it.
Okay.
And we're 738 approximately.
What's that?
738.
738. Perfect.
We're about to upgrade to a 160.
160 horse?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we had talked about doing the 180 Superbird, but you gain some useful load.
Right.
You also take on a little extra weight.
Right.
And you pick up, a decent amount of speed, but not a ton.
Right.
So for us, we were like, hey, it's probably money better spent on avionics and just stick to the 160 instead of going all the way up.
Right. So this is reading 117. That's 117. So
That's great.
They're right on.
Yeah.
2920. 2920.
Yeah.
So we're climbing 500 feet per minute.
So typically, what would this bring in?
So what do you mean?
Where it says no data.
Oh, so it's usually when I have them configured, it'll give me a point.
Awesome.
Right now these are configured, so I use this a lot. This is my landing,
glide slope,
path, and everything. So, and these are connected.
Great.
This is connected to my radio.
Okay, for VORs.
Yep.
So,
and then this, when I get these connected and jiving, they will be able to give me a heading bug and all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. Will that also bring in? It probably won't bring in glide slope.
No. These don't.
It's just
only this.
navigation. Yep. Gotcha.
So, but the good thing is that it's much easier. I don't have to do a lot of scanning. I can say my altitude, my speed. It tells me my volts right now, so I know that I'm making good volts.
Yep.
So
I love that amount of information those bring in.
Yeah, it's golden.
You're going to be so handicapped if an examiner's like, okay, now that doesn't work. And you're like, no, come on.
What do I do?
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. So, tell us about what happened.
Yeah.
That's requiring us to go to Taylorsville.
Yeah, so Taylorville, that is Taylorville, Illinois, and I am part of an aircraft club on a 172M, and so one of the fellows in our club was headed down there for a funeral, unfortunately, and he started losing some power. So I think he said he got down to about what he would consider 40% power and a lot of vibration. So he was about 10 miles away, and he was kind of thinking about, hey, should I go ahead and take this all the way? But you know, he had his kid on board with him, and he decided, hey, I'm gonna make a safe call here, and we're gonna set it down. So he set it down at a private airstrip,
Okay.
and the owner of the airstrip, super great guy, super nice, said, hey, no problem, you do what you need to do. So he got off to the funeral, stayed an extra night, got a local AMP out there to take a look at it, and it was just a very preliminary look. He determined that one of the cylinders wasn't holding the same temp as the other ones were.
Okay.
So we were hoping to have him come back down and you know, dive in a little deeper. And he was just swamped, I guess, with some other projects. So that was we're probably going on 6 weeks ago.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. So, and for those watching, Chris is a hangar mate kind of ours.
Right.
We're right next to each other. And so he's felt a little lonely in there. No one to talk to while he's there working on his
Right.
plane.
My plane feels lonely in there.
Yeah. So anyways, 2 weeks ago, we jumped in a Cirrus and went down, landed there at Taylorville, drove up to this private strip and boroscoped the cylinder and found that we had a dropped valve. Looked like the valve actually broke on the stem.
Yep.
And trashed that cylinder. So we went ahead and ordered another one, got another mechanic from a couple hours away to come down and swap that cylinder out. He signed off on it, said everything looks good, and so now we're just on our way back to bring her back home. So
That's right.
yeah. So thanks for the ride. We're excited to have it back.
Well, this is going to help me get some IFR time down, so I'm down to do that. So
Yeah, that's awesome. We've been talking about flying some IFR time together for quite some time. So this is awesome.
This will make it happen. So I'm excited.
I'm a little bit familiar with the approach down there too, because when we went down in the Cirrus, we did the same thing.
With the Taylorsville.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We ran an approach on 1.8. So.
So I don't know if we'll run an approach. We'll just probably just go in.
Yeah.
And then because I've done a ton of approaches, so
Yes.
I don't really feel like I need to do it. Approaches usually take you way out away.
This one's fairly direct in, but yes, I totally agree.
Yeah. Let's just get there.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to remember if it's the approach on 1.9. I forget how many miles north you go. It's like 15 miles north to get on that approach.
Wow.
So, but that's approaches for you.
Yep.
Yeah, like on your GPS screen here, you got your little shadow, so you know you're up in the air.
Right. Well, it's called synthetic vision. Avidyne does.
Oh, no way.
Vision. So I got different map modes. I can do this map mode.
Yep.
Which just gives me a line. This is great for approaches because I can tell which my track is, and so approaches have a track.
Right.
And so I can
match that up.
Match it up.
That's awesome.
So, and then this, when I have the information, I can load up the map, the actual airport for it.
And it'll load it onto the plate.
Yep.
Even. That's really cool.
But I don't have that. I'm not paying for that.
Yes.
I've got it all on here.
Yes.
So I don't need to worry about it. So.
Yep.
And I do have not an iPad, but a pad that I put on my leg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
To scribble down some notes and things like that on. Yep.
Right.
Gotcha.
So let's go over to Des Moines and start getting flight following.
Sounds good.
Good morning, Des Moines approach, Moody 78875.
Moody, the 475 contact, Chicago Center 118.15.
Oh, I talked on him.
Ruben calling, go ahead.
Yeah, Moody 78875 has just left Ames en route to Tango Alpha Zulu and like flight following.
Requested altitude and type, you said you're a Moody. Requested altitude, please.
Yeah, we are Moody M20C and we will get up to 7,500.
And we're about 15 miles southeast of Ames.
Squawk 2421.
Clear. 2421. 2421. 2875 is squawking 2421.
She didn't even ask where you were. She's like, meh, I don't care.
Radar contact 15 miles southeast of Ames Airport. Point altitude 2005. Stay altitude.
2005, currently at 4,900 and climbing to 7,500. Noticing is that this has some static to it.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if I should take the...
Papa, did you want to try the
So you're kind of figuring that out. I'm having a hard time. I don't really hear approach. I can hear you. Approach is just really quiet. And that might just be part of the...
So how about now? How about now?
Is it getting better? Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah, 180, you called it. Yeah. So, but it's a crazy strong wind. One piece goes all the way through the aircraft. Okay. So non-bolted spar. Bolted spar. Okay. So very cool. The aircraft fuselage is bolted to the wing. Yep. Gotcha. So.
Delivery 5 times Chicago Center 13220.
Over to 32.8 for aviation of the site. Number center booty 78875 7,000.
78875 Chicago Center. Hello, I'm George 3004 here.
3004 for aviation of the site.
Don't you love it when they say hello?
Yeah, it's so nice.
You're like, this is going to be a good day.
Yeah.
I do too.
The great thing about this system here is you just touch it, and let's say you want to put in a frequency 22.7.
Yeah.
2.7. You don't have to put the one in.
I noticed that when you punched it in earlier.
And then boom, and it saves it to standby.
Very cool. Then you just got your flip-flop button.
Yeah, flip up. And you can store other channels in here as well, and click on those as well. You can have up to 4 channels. And then if you want to do, ILF approaches and stuff.
Very cool.
And you can ID them. So
that's really cool.
I like that. If we were to have an emergency,
I can't breathe here. If you squawk
all I have to do is hit nearest. It'll tell me the nearest airport, the frequency, everything, and how far away it is.
Awesome.
And all I do is hit that, and the boom, it'll bring you right to it.
That's so cool. Does it populate in the frequency as well?
Yep.
That's really cool.
So you don't have to think.
Yeah.
You know, you have to
Which is exactly what you don't need when you're in an emergency.
Right. So you just boom, done.
Yeah, I love that.
And you're now going and you're doing your thing.
It's really cool.
But I like this setup. I like this the Avidyne. I'm still learning it.
Yeah.
Because obviously with GPS, with approaches and stuff, it takes a learning curve.
Right. It's got a lot of capabilities.
Yeah. And stuff that I probably will never use.
Right.
Yep. But it's there.
So as Joe and I continued our flight, we talked about the AV-30s, talked about the importance of those AV-30s with IFR flight. We also talked about the Avidyne IFD 540, my NavCom in the aircraft, and how it relates to everything that I'm doing with my IFR training. Joe here has about 1.5 years worth of IFR training. He's got all the hours that he needs. I think he just needs to take his written exam and take the DPE, and he'll be good to go. But we ended up talking a lot about flight, our IFR training, and we ended up coming into Taylorville in about 1.5 hours, so not too bad. 244 nautical miles in 1.5 hours. We actually hit 205 knots on this trip of a ground speed, which is crazy, stupid, dumb fast. But we had a really good time, flew into Taylorville, jumped in the courtesy car, and drove over to Tommy's Airfield, a private airfield, and Tommy George, got to meet him. What a wonderful character he was, and we'll get to know him in a little bit. All right, so Joe and I made it here to Taylorsville. Camera went out on us because obviously it's a long flight, so we're going to figure out some stuff. My hope is that the audio turned out really good. We will find out, but here in Taylorsville, they got this giant, big old, dumb spotlight here. We're going to take the courtesy car and go over see his plane, but pretty cool little airport. Got some planes and stuff on the wall. And this is the FBO here in Taylorsville, Illinois. Pretty awesome. Okay. So you made it out here to Tommy, Georgia. Say hi, Tommy.
Hi guys,
Hey, how you doing? So,
hanging in there.
yeah, we hanging in there is right. So we came out here and checked out his little hangar out here, out at Tommy's Airfield here in Illinois. He's got this wonderful little kit plane. What is the name of this kit plane?
It's a flyboy.
It's a flyboy
Czechoslovakia.
from Czechoslovakia. So, and he's going to make this American as you can make it. So he's going to turn it red, white, and blue. He just built these wings. Super cool.
I like that gear. They said that they use it.
And he's got a
in Czechoslovakia because of the toughness.
road tax on it.
Oh really?
Oh, liquid cooled one. So yeah, we made it out here to the airfield. Gonna rescue a plane, right?
That's right.
And we're hoping it starts.
Hopefully the battery's got enough
It
juice.
has no choice.
It has no choice.
Alright.
Tommy, we're gonna get it out of your hair one way or another. That's for sure.
I'm gonna drop it or something.
Yeah,
We'll make it work.
we'll make it work. So
Check out that landing gear. Look at that sprung.
I know.
That's cool.
They said in Czechoslovakia they used them for military training because of the toughness of the landing gear.
Oh, really?
They said it was a really good airplane.
That's pretty.
Tough landing gear, military uses,
And maybe if you're lucky, Tommy might hook you up with a prop.
and yeah, Tommy might get me a prop. He makes props and stuff. So we always need aviation stuff in the house. My wife's gonna love it.
She'll be so thrilled.
She will.
And then she'll say, "Now what can I get?"
Yeah, right? Yeah, so we're out here at Tommy's Airfield. He built all these little airplanes. This is pretty cool. This is another little ultralight, looks like. It's got that blue head on it too. Liquid cooled. Keep walking down here to no admittance without a hard hat. You got your hard hat on? All right, we'll see if we can't get this bad boy fired up and get him on his way. The rescue.
We take an arm off. At least we want it on video.
Right.
You know.
If we take an arm off, we want to put it on video. And we'll have somebody to call 911 over there, right, Tommy?
Yep.
Yep.
I got my phone.
All right. We're good to go then. All right, ready to do this?
Yeah, let me, I guess I might as well do this part of it.
Yeah, just stay on the brakes and
Keep the door open.
ooh, heard something fire.
Good. Probably that one cylinder.
Ooh, a little better that time.
Yeah. I bet it's that cylinder.
Ooh, it's spinning a little more.
Come on.
That's how you do it. Got oil pressure. All right, got oil pressure. Throw your lights on. We'll go check the lights. All lights seem to be working. We hand propped that sucker. We'll just wait for him to take off and do his thing. All right, there he goes. Woo. It's gonna taxi on down to the end of the runway and take off. Grass strip. Tommy's Airfield here, just I believe it's just north and west of Taylorsville. It's got a private airstrip back here. Said, you know, if you have any emergencies, you're always welcome here. He says he usually doesn't get too many visitors, so Super excited to be able to see this, I imagine, going off, because we've had some mechanics come out here and look at this and fix that cylinder, and it seems to be running good. So we'll watch him take off, get him down there, turn around and take off. There he comes. Yes, lots of runway left. After getting Joe's plane started and up in the sky, I drove back to the airport, jumped in the plane, and took off. I knew that Joe had a half-hour head start of me, but my plane's a little faster, and I ended up catching him about a half hour into my flight.
All right, we made it here to Taylorville, not Taylorsville, but Taylorville. This has been a really good trip, and I am now going to turn everything on, get things running, I think, when we get up in the air. So we're going to take off here from Taylorsville and head back to Ames. It's going to be a slow go because we're going to have winds pushing us, but we'll hopefully be able to catch Joe while we're doing it. We'll see. Taylorville traffic, Mooney 875 is departing runway 27 to the north and west. Taylorville. Got flaps in. This is a very narrow runway here, 27. Alright, we're gonna go. Ready, set, and rock and roll. There we go. There's 40. There's 60. There's 70. They're off. We'll stay outside the Charlie. We'll go ahead and give him a call, though. Good morning, Springfield approach, Mooney 78875.
Mooney 78875, 4714 for 5 pounds. Mooney 78875, 4714.
4714 for Mooney 875.
Mooney 78875, your radar contact 6 miles northwest of the Taylorville Airport, landed at Kirkton Springfield, altimeter 3010.
3010 for Mooney 875.
Altimeter 683 Hotel, contact approach on 125.8 today.
All right, we are on cruise now. Got everything trimmed out and ready to go. We're 4,700. We need to cruise down to 4,500. So this is Springfield, Illinois. I believe that's the capital of Illinois. And we got to meet up with Joe at Mount Municipal Airport. So, and then we'll meet up with him. We'll go flight of 2 out of there to Ames and be able to see him flying his aircraft. Make sure that everything's going good for him. So, yeah, we're doing only 114 knots right now. Drastic change for the airspeed because we are definitely going into a headwind. But the air's smooth, which is good. So it's going to take us a little longer to get there today. It says we got 30 minutes till we get to Mount whatever.
Number 101 Tango Foxtrot, contact approach 125.8. 125.8, 1 Tango Foxtrot.
I don't see Spring. Oh, I do. I see Springfield's airport. There it is. Off in the distance. So that was a really cool trip to be able to go to Tommy's Airfield. Tommy Georges is his name. 74-year-old man. He is quite the adventurer. He had some pretty cool stories. He basically said that he had a story of when he was flying. He had built an aircraft and was flying, and went over to another airport to go meet up with a bunch of friends, and flew over to another airport to meet up with these guys. And in doing so, he left his headset in the aircraft, and once he got there, he shut the door, and he said he smelled electrical, like burning electrical, but he couldn't figure out what was going on. Actually, he did that before he left. He smelled burning electrical, and then he decided, well, I'll fly. So he jumped in the plane and took off and flew. And plane ran fine, ran, everything was good, and he ended up getting to his next destination. I can't remember what he said, but got to his next destination, and he ended up having to shut the airplane down by pulling the choke to start it, just to choke it out to get the engine stopped, because he couldn't get them stopped. He was like, couldn't figure out what was going on. Obviously, there was something electrical going on if he could smell electrical stuff, but Tommy was like, oh, well, whatever. It is what it is. Plane ran fine, flew fine. After he had his fun with his friends there, he jumped back in his plane and took off, and as he's taking off, as he's taking off, he gets about 200 feet off the deck, and the engine dies. Are you with us, Brian? Dies. And, yeah, that's Brian. I guess he's just not on frequency. These are all guys talking on the 2275 frequency, which is the communication frequency that you use for air-to-air communication. So anyway, he takes off, he gets off 200 feet, and the engine dies. Well, he decides, well, I think I can't put it down in the trees, so I'm going to put it down, I'm going to turn it around and fly back, come back to the airport. So as he's making the turn, he's losing altitude, and all of a sudden he loses all control of the stick. The stick just gets loose on him. And he comes barreling into the ground and crashes into the ground. Now, he has a picture of his plane that's all crashed, and I'll share that with you guys. But he crashed his plane, and he remembers sitting there, and he remembers tasting blood. Didn't know if he was okay. He said he felt fine, his legs worked and everything else, but then he realized, I don't have any breath. I have no breath. And he thought to himself, well, this is it. This is how it's going to go. And so he laid his head over and he said a prayer to the Lord. He said, God, please forgive me of everything that I've done. And Coffee, I'm coming to see you. And he ended up closing his eyes and just relaxing. At that moment, his breath came back to him. It basically knocked the breath out of him. And then he got back to square one. What's working? Well, his legs are working, everything's working. I got to get out of this thing. So he got out of this thing, and he walked away with a broken back, a punctured lung, and a big cut above his eye. That was what the blood he was tasting. But he told us this story because he said, you just never want to take anything for granted when it comes to aviation. If something's different or something's off, stop what you're doing, investigate what you're doing. And I thought, man, that's a guy who's learning the hard way, right? Well, Tommy told me, he goes, you know what else though? He goes, I rebuilt that plane, and then the next year I flew it to Oshkosh. So didn't stop him from doing anything. He got right back on the horse and went back after it. So he had a couple of adventures. He said, like he said, 74 years old, and they oftentimes say that if you're flying, there's a luck pile, and every day you fly, you're pulling out of that luck pile. Well, he's pulled so much out of the luck pile that he ran out of luck and had a crash and injured himself. But he ended up surviving. So, which is good good for us because I got a chance to meet Tommy, and Tommy was a super neat guy, a lot of fun, and had his own airfield and lived out in the country. And he says, I don't get many visitors out here. The only time I ever get visitors is when somebody's having problems because they have to land on the field. So he was really, it was really nice to be able to visit with him, and told him, I said, I'm going to have to come back here. He goes, well, I don't invite anybody out here. I'm like, you don't? He goes, nope, but if you show up, you show up. Okay. So all has to do, I think, with the liability issue. Since he owns the field, he doesn't want something bad to happen. He does take care of his runway really well. He
St. Louis approach, Charger 20 Lima Lima, descending 2,500.
He rolls it.
Lima, thank you. Are you inbound?
Negative, not yet. Detouring east around the Charlie and then heading straight for SCI.
Anyway, he's Tommy said that he basically doesn't invite anybody out there for liability reasons, but he does roll the runway and mows it and make sure it's all taken care of and ready to go. So guy has aviation in his blood, and he is definitely a lover of aviation. And it was certainly fun to meet with him and talk with him. Told him I'd come back sometime. He's like, okay, I'm not going to invite you, but you can come back. So we'll have to make a trip back out there to see old Tommy. He's a pretty interesting guy, and love to get some content of him because, man, I tell you what, the guy had some stories, and super interesting. It's funny, some of the people with the most interesting stories are older, and because they've lived life, and they've seen things, and they've done things, and certainly get a kick out of that. So we had fun, and
approaches, Cirrus 800 Bravo Golf with you at VFR at 3,500.
As you know, anyway, Tommy was an interesting guy. We actually got the plane started, got Joe going. The battery was dead, so we hand propped it. Rather than take the whole front cowling off and jump start it, we just hand propped it. First time I've ever hand propped a airplane, and I got it started. So my muscles still work, which is pretty awesome. So we actually had got it started. It sounded great. I got up in the sky and flew to this Mount Municipal, or what they call this thing. Mount Sterling Airport, regional airport. So that's where he went to. He's going to get some fuel. He had to make sure that he was burning the engine hard. So he had to run 2,700 RPMs as long as he could for a half hour to break in that cylinder. So he did that. He's going to fly there. He's going to land. He's going to fuel up, and then he's going to take off for Ames. My hope is that we catch him. We're only doing 121 knots right now across the ground, which is like 150 miles an hour maybe. So we'll catch up, hopefully catch up to him and get him up in the air, and then we'll go from there. So we see each other again. You guys, see you later. Bye.
All right, we got Mr. Joe out in front of us. Looks like you picked up a few miles per hour.
Yeah, it kind of helps to do a little bit of leveling off here. I think I'm up to, still climbing, but I'm at 95 knots, ground speed.
Yeah, I'm at 93 knots. I'm just kind of half throttle. Sorry.
What's your fuel burn?
8.1.
Hey, we're going the same speed, burning the same amount of fuel. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I'm going to get a little closer, probably, I don't know, maybe 300 yards behind you.
Sounds good. I'll be set on a heading of 3-3 approximately.
We've got 168 nautical miles left. It's so cool to see your plane flying in the air.
And it's just right there, right out the window.
Yeah, I can almost touch it.
If you want to pull ahead, I can definitely get a few pictures of your plane if you'd like.
That would be fantastic. I will pull ahead.
Perfect. Too bad my window is not cleaner.
That's what happens when it sits in a field for 6 weeks.
Yeah,
coming up on your 9 o'clock position.
That's a good shot of you just kind of passing a Cessna.
Yeah, I'm kind of 3/4 pedaling it right now.
Perfect, that'll make for some good photos.
Yeah, so cool to see things from the air.
Yeah, it really is. Perfect. Perfect. Awesome. Then I'm going to come in a little bit behind you and get another angle.
All right, I'll try and keep her slow here. Yeah, it's running pretty good. Not a lot, no vibrations or nothing.
No vibrations at all. It's super smooth, actually. So, yeah, I was like, man, it might even be smoother than it was before.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
I'd call that a win. For now, anyways, we're still moving towards engine rebuild.
Well, I'm just glad that I had a chance to help and to get some IFR time and go down and see a new airport. And of course, meet Tommy. Man, that guy was a trip.
Yeah, he's definitely the bomb. I could tell you could spend a whole afternoon just sitting and visiting with him.
You know, I've said this before, but, you know, older people, they have so much life experience and wisdom, and sometimes the stories they share are pretty awesome, and especially guys that are like Tommy with, you know, have aviation in their blood and have a lot of stories to tell. It's kind of cool to visit. I'm thinking about going back down there with the cameras and just doing a whole video with just him.
Oh, I bet that would be really cool, actually. Yeah, it's fun hearing those stories about, especially kind of the Wild West of aviation as far as like the light sport stuff goes. And it kind of takes you back to like, hey, if you have a cylinder drop a valve, it's not the end of the world, and you don't need to freak out about it. When you hear stories like what he tells me, like, oh wow, okay, I guess what I went through wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's just the money. That's the problem. Is when things happen. Like mechanically, you're like, oh man, the money's going out. But it really isn't the end of the world. You end up getting caught back up, and time heals everything. So everything usually gets taken care of and fixed and done, and you're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. You can always make more money.
Absolutely, and you only live once, so make the best of your situation.
As Joe and I continued our flight back to Ames from Tommy's Airfield, I was so blessed to have him flying right next to me. I tell you what, flying 2.5 hours all alone is much different than flying with somebody else where you can talk to him. The time seemed to fly by, and we talked about everything from building engines and airplanes to aviation itself and how our dreams ultimately led us to aviation. So grateful to have Joe aboard. I was so grateful for him to ask me to be able to help him go down and rescue his aircraft down at Tommy's Airfield. The cameras ended up ultimately dying because it is a 2.5 hour trip, but I wanted to share this final message with you, and I hope that you guys have a great day and that we will see you over the friendly skies of Iowa. Y'all take care. We'll see you later.
My worldview and my life view is this, is that, you know, everybody has faith. And we are given the two greatest gifts in the world. One is the atonement of Jesus Christ, and the second thing we've been given is the ability to have our agency, our ability to choose. And if God gave us the ability to choose, we choose things like being a Presbyterian, whether being a Mormon, whether being a Catholic, or being Jewish, or being any of those kinds of other faiths. I think God looks at us and says, you know what, they're trying, and we need to recognize that, because if my kids are trying, I'm happy as I'll get out, and I gotta feel that the Lord is probably looking at us going, hey, you know what, they're trying.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do live in a unique country in that way that that's generally tolerated. But yeah, I totally agree as far as when it's not tolerated, that's not where we need to be headed.
No, and compassion means a lot, but you got to realize that there are rules and there's regulations and there's life, and I certainly don't judge anybody for being a Catholic or being a Presbyterian or being Lutheran or whatever faith you choose. I tell people all the time that, hey, listen, you know what? God loves you, and you should go to church. And I don't say you need to go to my church. You just need to go to church, because there's plenty of blessings in church. And you know what? I wasn't raised in a church. I was raised to make choices for myself, and later in life I found God, and finding God has changed my life for the better. And grateful for this wonderful life that I have, the ability to be able to fly right behind Joe Green.
Well put. Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Yeah, we go to the Christ community there in Ames, and yeah, that plays a big role in our life and where we put our moral standard, and yeah, I think it's important. Yeah, it's very honorable. God loves that, I'm sure. So that's very cool. And even spending time with people like Tommy, my heart goes out to people like that I can just tell are, could use some community.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, kind of a lonely existence out there. And so when I left, I shook his hand and said, hey, thank you so much. He goes, you are welcome back anytime. And he genuinely, you could feel it, that he meant that. It's like he wants us to come back. And so I'm going to try and make an effort to make it back sometime, maybe this summer.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool how God lays out our steps.
Amen to that.